We're going to talk a little bit about, I've got this percussion cap here, and you may have seen our Facebook post about this. I believe it was last. Well, we're back out here at the Lost Sand Creek site, going to do some detecting today, and Dad was doing some research on, homesteads and homestead claims, and he found that in 1880 somebody had, they did not file for a homestead, or it's not on the homestead claims, but it's marked on the 1880 survey map, just a cabin and a claim, and we're going to kind of look around and see what we can find. And 1880, this would be like square nails and not round nails, so it'd be closer to like Sand Creek period type of stuff. Interestingly, he didn't find really anything homestead related out here till about 1911. So there's a big gap between 1880 and 1911 when homesteaders were out here, but this was probably likely a squatter. And so we're kind of just interested to see what we find out here. So let's come watch along and see what we might possibly find.
Piece of wood. It's all solid wood.
Huh. That's really interesting. Well, we're out here now at a different spot at the Lost Sand Creek site at the Bone Meadow Ranch, where we believe there could have been some activity at Sand Creek. We didn't end up finding anything over at that cabin and claim site, but we're gonna, keep searching that area. And there were homesteads out here, so we know that those were out here. We're gonna talk a little bit about, I've got this percussion cap here, and you may have seen our Facebook post about this. I believe it was last week, and these things are really tiny. They're about, smaller than they'd fit on a dime. They're really small. They'd be really hard to find. And there was that, narrative with, Sand Creek that, over the years, the reason why nobody found artifacts over at that traditional site, what is now the National Park Service site, is because over the years, everybody just picked up all the artifacts. But we know that that's just simply not true, because starting over 2 miles up the creek from there, Chuck, my dad, he found over 4,000 artifacts on the Bone family ranch, and some of those artifacts were percussion caps. And so we're just going to kind of demonstrate how difficult this would be to find. So And we can show here there's nothing on the ground right now. If you swing his metal detector, it's not going to pick up anything. There's nothing on the ground there. And and with the naked eye, these are going to be really hard to find. So I'm just going to drop that on the ground, and you saw me toss it. And you can imagine, even if this was found on the surface, these weren't even found on the surface. These were found with a metal detector, and they are all of them are about 2 to 3 inches deep. And even if you were to try to find that on the surface, I mean, it's going to be hard to find. You're not going to see that walking around along Sand Creek. But if we were to wave his metal detector now, we're gonna find that percussion cap that I had tossed on the ground. And there it was. And just like that, that's really hard to find. You wouldn't even have seen these with the naked eye, but they weren't on the ground anyway. Like we were saying, they were all about 2 to 3 inches deep, really hard to find. And so that idea that artifacts were picked up is just simply preposterous. But the real location is starts about a little over 2 miles up the creek from that bluff, and we're out here at a different spot. This is um, where we believe in this area. We're in this several miles up the creek from the village area. The rifle pits would have been in this area. Robert McFarland was killed in this area, and we can see, yeah, he was just pointing his metal detector in that area. You can I kind of just pan, and you can just see there was Sand Creek activity up here, because we know from artifacts it was a running battle that went on for several miles. And um, this there's still things to be found today. And we just keep searching and finding things that kind of help continue to tell that story.